Hi and welcome to Down the Shed. So in this Christmassy video we shall be making this Christmas tree. This is one of three that I currently have. There is a fourth on the way. I have made this one in the past. I've glued on a badass speaker. Took the crappy little one off. So let's have a little listen to this one. So there are certain songs that you can get away with without copyright. I'm guessing this is one of them. So I think we'll actually leave this one going in the background. I was going to pull some songs up on the computer. So that's our little Christmassy theme. So they've obviously got the copyright free songs in there. So I'm keeping tabs on them on my book. So first things first, we have three different types of resistor. So we'll put the other two PCBs to the side for a moment. We'll concentrate on this one. So if you go back to the Icstation webpage, you'll find that it has a component listing. So I'll just highlight those on the screen now. So here we have the component listing and schematic. So hopefully you should now have seen the component listing, the schematic and the sales page. So this is item ID 7213, normally $6.99, currently $4.89. Shed-ICS is your 15% voucher code. You're welcome. 15% discount. So $4.89 minus 15%. Not bad. So that's about what, 60-70 cents off. So just over $4, £3.50 or something. So enough jibber jabber. Let's get on and build this. So this is CTR30A. We need R2, 4 and 6 on both of these. So R2, 4 and 6 is 1K. R135 are both 10K. On the A, which is this one, you also have a R7 2.2K. They both, C1 to C3, are both 47 UF 16 volt ceramic capacitors, polarity dependent. They've both got 18 3mm RGB LEDs. They both have 3 TO92 resistors. And then we've got the power socket, self-locking switch, battery box, and hardware to go on to the last one. So let's start populating this. So we'll start off getting that single R7 in, which is about halfway up here. And that is red, gold, 2.2K. So our 1K is brown, black, orange, gold. And 1K is R2, 4 and 6. So here's R2. There's R6. And R4. So that's 1K, brown, black, orange. If you can get the little bugger in. Like so. So that leaves us with Rs 1, 3 and 5, which is 10k, and that is brown, black, red, gold. And the 1Ks were brown, black, orange, gold, so don't get them mixed up. So 1, 3 and 5, there's one. Trying to get all the gold bands in the same direction. There's 3. It'll be easier for you to notice my edits on this one because the music will change. And lastly are 5. So once this is done, we'll blue tack these down and solder them in. So I'll pause there. Right, so the little fan's running. We've got some extraction this time. Right, and snip. Okay, so that's the board with the resistors fitted. So I've already started to populate the second. It's quite nice being around with music on. Even getting to feel a little bit Christmassy. I might decorate the shed. So snip, 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 and that's the resistors on both boards done. Missed 2. This is near the end of my 1mm solder, and to be fair, I'm getting quite into using 0.6 or 0.8mm solder, especially with the SMD work. This 1mm is alright, but right, we want to save one of these longer legs. I have got other wire for this, but you'll see why later. I'll see if I can do it with that. I might try other cable that I've got. So there we go. That is our 2 resisted up boards. I might just have a look at tidying these up a bit. Right, I've checked all the caps and they are all correct. 47 UF 16 volt. Again, as always, the negative band on the short leg. Now, if somebody had decided to have a bit of fun in the factory and cut both our legs, we'd be really unhappy. Cut both of our legs to the same length, as you can see there. Now, without looking at that cap, you don't know what's short, what's long. So now I really do need to identify the polarity using the capacitor. And there we go, there's the negative band, easily done. Onto the banded side of the board. Now you can see 2 of them go the same way, the middle one goes the opposite way. So do check those polarities. Now you'll also see we haven't got a circle on the board for the capacitors, but we have an elongated rectangle or rectangle. So what that means is we're going to put our capacitor in at the correct length, or correct polarity rather, but we're just going to bend them legs over like so and lay the component on the board. Now it is vitally important that you leave yourself room, especially with the transistors as well, to lay them flat, as this board will require constructing, and you could end up with not enough room when the board, you see the slot, these actually go together like this, and then you solder the, you can see the arrow in that pad there, and then you solder the pads together. So eventually these will go like this. So as you can see in the picture now already, if the ones, they wouldn't actually get in the way much there, but it does save the room and it looks better on the PCB. So let's get this third one in. I'll do the other board without you because it's exactly the same as this one, so there's no point you watching me do both of them. So again, just get those in, give them a bit of height, lay them down nice and flat on the board, some blue tack, and we can solder. Push them across, make them. So there you go, that's the resistors and the electrolytic caps on this board. So I'll do this other board. There we have it, two identical boards except that R7 is 2.2K on the B board. So the boards have 3 codes. The base is CTR30C, and you've got 30B and 30A. So next we're going to add the 2 transistors on each board. So again, it is dependent, I think it's emitter base collector, so it's the base and the collector that you don't want to get the wrong way round. So these are S9014s, so the flat side of the transistor matches the flat side of the silver screen as always. And now again, we want to try and bend these down, sit them flat as per the instruction. So that's the second transistor in place. So there we go, that's this side of the board up to speed. All we've got left on there now is another transistor. There's 6, not 4. I lied. I just noticed it down here and I thought, oh no, I've put one in the wrong place. That should sit nice. Let's get one leg in. I'll just do this one quick. We'll check it. Yeah, he's raised up a bit. There we go. Right, so all we should have on this board now is the LEDs and the actual pairing of the board to the other board. Okay, so that camera's just died, but that should have recorded enough of what I need it to do. Right, so I'll bring the other board up to speed. Okay, so now we're down to, oh, how was that running? So we've got, this one is all finished, so I've got the LEDs in. So we'll do the LEDs in this one. But for the minute, I had this one. Look, hey, whoa, I've got to show you this. I've just put it down on a battery and half the LEDs are actually running. So that was unexpected. Right, so let's get some LEDs in. I just turned around and noticed at the corner of my eye that was flashing. I'm like, hey, what the? So square hole, round hole. It does say on the diagram, on the listing, the long leg is the positive. Square hole normally is a positive. So slide it in, bend it to where you're happy. So remembering long leg, square pin. There is a little marking for the cathode, but you can only just see it because the pin or lead hole actually obscures it. So that's 3 of the 18 in. So I'll pause that and I'll stop that and I'll finish the others off. Okay, so we've got most of this side in now. Just 5 more to go, plus the top one. So what I'm doing, long leg onto the positive pole, bend it over, and just to hold it in place, I'm putting a little tap on the top of the leg here. So we'll just solder these last few down. Big guns going off outside. Benefits of living in a garrison. Sorry, super garrison. And there we have. Get them all slightly lined. Good enough. So there we have the 2 halves. So these will now go together like this. So slide them together. It just slides between those 2. Because I've got those 2 transistors facing in on that board and out on the other board, it just slides between the 2 of them. So that slides together like so. Get the right, as you can see, I need to check the camera. Right, as you can see, where the arrow is, we've got solder points in there on each one. So we need to solder all those together, and then we've got some down the bottom here, so they all need soldering in together as well. So we'll do a test fit on the base. So also, 2 of these are plus. I'm going to zoom out. 2 of these are plus and 2 of these are minus. So they are marked on there. So I've got plus and plus there. And it will say on here which 2 are plus, which 2 are minus. Right, so we've got an arrow on here with this plus, and we've got an arrow on the board. So that one goes in that way. I think possibly a bit of solder paste and just tack that down for the minute. So we'll get some solder paste on that. I'll try and get this up level. Right, okay, so that'll hold that in for the moment. So remembering your plus and your minus on this one, because you don't want to get that in backwards. Plus you've got your 2 arrows which meet up when they slot in. Okay, so that's upright. So we'll solder all these bases down, which is easier said than done. Okay, so I'm going to have to do this without the camera seeing because I can't solder. Actually, I'm going to pause, I'm going to solder paste all of these. Okay, so that's all the bases. I don't know if you'll see them, but let's try and get some light in. That's all the bases welded in. So now we've got to do all of these inner ones, which won't be too hard because we'll do what we just did before. Get a bit of solder paste, dabble the solder paste in there, and then heat it up. And there we have our weld. So we've only got all of these other 3 to do and the 4 down below. That's just wires all 4 boards together. Or both boards together, all 4 sides rather. Okay, so that's all the side welds, and a blob of solder paste does an awesome job on that. Just blob it in and then heat it up. You get an awesome job done on that. So as you can see, the bottom 4 and top 4. And of course you've got the base as well, so we've welded all those together, or soldered all those together. So now all that's left to do is to fit the switch, the power socket. I'm probably not going to put the battery pack on. Actually, I will put the battery pack on. So we've got the power socket. Perhaps we should have put this on first actually, because we've got a tricky bit in a minute. can cheat if you're going to hold something like this in, because the solder paste already has flux in it. You can literally just use a dab of that to pin this down. Like so. So that's pinned into place. I think I need it then. Right, so let's get these other two pins done and redo that third one. There we go. Some decent amount of solder on it. So that's the power socket on. Now we have to, well, we don't have to. I mean, it is quite, but they suggest you take a long component lead, solder it into one side of here, and then bend it over. Oh, you right up with this, and I'll be back. Okay, so I've got a bit of that just poking through, enough to solder onto. Let that one bubble on through. There we go. So that's the retaining pin or retaining clip for the power socket. So now we need to put on the switch. Now apparently there's a concave side on the switch. So on the actual switch button you'll see 3 flat sides and one which has got a little dent out of it. The dent goes to the outside of the board. Again, something else I'm going to hold in place with a bit of solder paste. There we go. So we'll just and then we've only got the battery pack to do and we're done. Alright, let's do the middle one. Bottom one. Okay, so that's the power circuit on board. The switch, sorry, on board. Now all we've got to do is wire up the battery packs. I think I will have it on battery pack. But first, let's plug it into the USB and see what we get. So that should be off. Supplied USB cable. Right, we have power in. Let's turn it on. Well, that's disappointing. I can see a bit of flickering in there. I don't know whether that's picking it up. So let's figure out what's going on. Let's try the battery pack first. Right, I have forgotten one LED. which goes on the top. So I'm hoping that could be the reason why we're not getting, I don't think it is going to be though. So we'll just, you can see plus and minus on top of the board. So we'll just poke that in there, city up high, get a bit of solder paste just to plug this one down. Right, let's have another go. Okay, so that's not exactly what I was expecting. So at the moment I'm going to upload this video and consider that a failure. I will look into it, see what I can get done, but I think you'll agree, even with the big light off, there ain't much going on there. So I've obviously got a short somewhere, so I'll sort that out and come back. Okay, so here we have it all up and running. That top one's not working very well now, but I did have to cheat. What I've done is I've run some jumper cables. Come on, get focus. I've run jumper cables. There's some more somewhere. There we go. I've used old component leads on this side. So as you can see, I've jumped there, I've jumped there. But I don't know why it wouldn't work before, but it has got us working, so can't grumble really. So there we go, we made a cock up, we managed to get ourselves out of it, we've got ourselves a working tree, and I'm most happy with that. So I'm not sure why it failed to start with, but this is a brilliant example on how to show, even if you don't know what you're doing, you can still fault find, debug your project and find a way around it. So happy days. All I've got to do now is mount that onto this battery pack with the 2 screws and nuts provided, and then the missus can have that for her work table to go with her optic tree that I made. So like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. As always, I've been Jason, this has been Down the Shed, and we'll see you in the next one. Here we are. Now you get a better twinkly effect because I've bent the LEDs. One's left, middle, right, left, middle, right, left, middle, right, going up and down. So as you can see, it just throws more light around in more directions. It's working perfectly since I jumpered it, and that's on the battery pack. If I plug it in, hang on. When I plug it in, you'll see it go well bright. Oh, he says trying to hold it and plug it in. There we go. See how much brighter that went. So that's running off the USB. Yeah, cracking little project. I'm not sure why it didn't work properly the first time. I think I probably will buy a second one just to see if I can build it with any changes and get it working right the first time. But yeah, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget use shed-ICS on the affiliated links for 15% discount, and we'll see you with the next Christmas tree video.